from the Eternal City. This is Souls and Liberty, Rome Dispatch with Dr. Jules Gomes.
Has Pope Francis had a conversion experience? Has Pope Francis suddenly transmogrified from a secular globalist proselytizer into a new personification of the great evangelist Billy Graham? Eureka! He's got it! By George, he's got it! Like Isaac Newton, who, according to a legend, discovered gravity when the apple fell on his head, Pope Francis, it appears, finally discovered the gospel when he set foot on the soil of Luxembourg and Belgium. So, what happened to the pontiff last week? Did Francis hear the cock crow 3 times as he stepped onto the red carpet in Luxembourg? Has Francis had a vision after a bar of Belgian chocolate? After all, he did deny Jesus as the only way to God 3 times in the last month. The first time was at an interfaith youth meeting in Singapore when Francis told his audience, all religions are paths to reach God. Days later, when the platoon of internet pope-splainers had just begun to recover from defending Francis's theological double Dutch, the Holy Father doubled down. In a video addressed to youth in Albania, Francis said that the diversity of religious identities is a gift of God. As if this wasn't enough, Francis wrote to participants at the international meeting of prayer for peace in Paris, insisting we need to allow ourselves to be guided by the divine inspiration present in every faith. Why is it that the Synod on Synodality, Pope Francis's pet project, will not discuss the topic of church discipline when it is so desperately needed? Why has the Vatican still not disciplined Father Marco Ivan Rupnik, the former Jesuit who is accused of sexually assaulting at least 25 nuns? Living in Rome, I am scandalized by the fact that the United States President Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi, who both identify as devout Catholics, can waltz into the Vatican and receive Holy Communion at St. Peter's Basilica.
We had the pleasure of attending Mass this morning with His Holiness and many leaders of the Church.
Rome, it seems, no longer disciplines lay Catholics. In many cases, even its clergy, unless the priest is literally caught red-handed or the media exposure becomes too hot to handle. But walk down the road just 10 minutes from the Vatican, and you will encounter a historic evangelical church with its sister churches all over Italy. I spoke to the pastors of these churches. They are serious about church membership and church discipline. A member who is caught in grave sin is not allowed to receive Holy Communion. And if that person does not publicly repent, he or she is excommunicated. The tectonic plates have shifted. An earthquake has rocked the Catholic Church. When I relocated to Rome over 4 years ago, a very wise businessman told me, you have a ringside view of history. You're going to watch history in the making. He was right. On Saturday, I watched history being made as Pope Francis orchestrated the greatest revolution since the Protestant Reformation. And he did it without firing a single shot, without provoking a single schism. He did it not by making cosmetic changes that would upset conservative Catholics. He did it by diving down deep into the bowels of the church and by rewriting the very DNA of the church's processes of doing theology and making decisions. Bravissimo, Papa Francesco! You did it! By George, you did it! Francis's revolution changed what was considered to be the church of perpetual stability and transformed it into the church of perpetual synodality. It is a revolution that no one notices, one cardinal told CNN after the final document produced by the Synod on Synodality was released on Saturday. Revolutionaries are greater sticklers for formality than conservatives. The Italian novelist and journalist Italo Calvino wrote in 1957. He was right. Conservatives focus on outcome. Hot-headed, impulsive, and bad revolutionaries focus also on outcome. It ends badly. But the great revolutionaries, the real revolutionaries, focus on process. A lasting revolution is about process. Because once you change process, a change in outcome is only a matter of time. It was Karl Marx who first called for substituting permanent war for permanent revolution. The final synod document calls for permanent revolution.